Thanks, Sam. Hi, everyone. I'm Brooks Sherman, President of Business Operations for the Royals. Thank you for joining us today. So far, you've seen and heard us say a lot about the economic benefits of a downtown ballpark district. Today, we're pleased to share with you the most concrete data we have yet on how exactly this project in the Crossroads neighborhood will infuse the economic boom our region is experiencing. Our situation is unique in many ways, but one of the most impactful is that our current location at the K minimizes the economic impact of a baseball team in particular, given the high volume of games we play, at least 81 home games per year to be precise, plus numerous other events like concerts, college games, each with a mix of local fans and visitors with an appetite for unique experiences like restaurants and urban amenities that just aren't available at the K. Upgrading to our preferred site, which connects downtown to the Crossroads, T-Mobile Center to the new ballpark, and the creation of an expanded sports and entertainment district will bring massive benefit to our region. The Major League Baseball games alone will bring 2 to 3 million people in aggregate to downtown during the season. By having our ballpark supported by our own development that's activated 365 days a year, we'll add visitors on top of the baseball fans and thus the synergies this location provides. An example that I can give you is Atlanta. They drew 3 million fans to their ballpark. In their district, the Battery had a total of 10 million visitors in the last 12 months. This project will result in a huge economic boost for our region with high impact perpetually, as I just described, and also in a concentrated way during the construction period. And of course, it also allows the Chiefs to take fuller advantage of what the space out here at the Truman Sports Complex has to offer for them, and then creating two hubs of activity for Kansas City sports fans far and wide. The end result, meaningful new revenue impact for the county, city, and state, and an uplift for every segment of our community. This is incremental in a big way. We're here to talk about numbers, but it's also important to remember the new energy in downtown. This has the potential to generate immeasurable benefits, including civic city brand, civic pride, and a renewed excitement in our city's downtown. Put together, the analysis we're releasing today showcases the clearest sign yet that a vote yes on question 1 on April 2nd is the best path forward for our community and for the future of the Royals. As you've assuredly heard by now, this is the largest public-private investment in Kansas City's history as proposed, over $2 billion, with the Royals ownership group funding the majority of this project. That includes an estimated $1.3 billion of private funds to cover a major portion of the ballpark and the entirety of the surrounding development. There will also be more than $200 million going back to the county because the Royals and Chiefs will take on the costs of stadium insurance premiums and returning the park levy going forward. And just this week, we announced more than $260 million in community benefits across both teams. Put simply, question 1 is proposing a better deal than what's currently in place, hundreds of millions of dollars better, all coming without new taxes. Around the Royals, we feel the legacy of Mr. K in everything we do. His vision was to ensure that Major League Baseball thrives in this region for decades to come. He'd make sure we do the right thing, not the easy thing, and he would not wait until it was too late to act. Above all, he'd want us to keep a long-term view and put the broader needs of the community first. Now I'll turn it over to Gus Dossett with Jones Lang LaSalle to walk you through the specifics on their projections, and I look forward to the Q&A. Gus?
Thanks, Brooks. Hi, everyone. I'm Gus Dossett, Executive Vice President with JLL, and I specialize in economic impact analysis for stadium and mixed-use projects. Today, I'm here to share with you the results of our analysis on the economic impact projections for the proposed Crossroads Ballpark District. At JLL, we have a strong track record of conducting rigorous economic impact assessments for major developments around the world. Our methodology includes robust data analysis, industry expertise, and a proven input-output model technique based on the foundational concept that all industries, households, and governments in a local economy are connected through buy-sell relationships. Therefore, one economic activity supports a ripple effect of additional indirect activity. The project's direct impacts are the immediate effects resulting from initial project spending such as construction expenditures or operating revenues. Indirect impacts include the benefits realized by businesses within the supply chain and supporting industries, and the spending of income earned by individuals associated with the project. Our model utilizes annual federal Bureau of Economic Analysis data to understand the linkages between actors in the local economy and analyzes both the project's direct and indirect ripple impacts. Our comprehensive analysis considers the short-term construction phase, as well as the long-term operational impacts generated by a new ballpark and an adjacent mixed-use entertainment district. We relied on our experience with similar Major League Stadium districts and our Crossroads specific development feasibility study to estimate the project's or to estimate the district's economic activities and mix of uses, which will feature local restaurants, shops, office spaces, hotels, and housing options. We anticipate the mixed-use district to be delivered in 2 roughly equivalent phases, with the first phase opening concurrently with the ballpark. Finally, we paid careful consideration to analyze only the project's impacts that are incremental to the Royals' impacts today. The figures we're sharing here are all incremental impacts beyond the Royals' impacts today. Looking at the construction phase alone, we expect the $2 billion+ project to create approximately 26,000 jobs, resulting in an estimated labor income of $1.8 billion. Additionally, this significant investment will stimulate total economic output of $3.8 billion in the region. The construction industry is the primary beneficiary of the project's direct impacts, and the benefiting indirect supporting industries are the concrete manufacturing, transportation logistics, architectural and engineering, and wholesale machinery and equipment industries, among many others. Beyond the construction phase, the ballpark district represents ongoing annual economic benefits. We project that the ballpark district's first phase will support around 5,400 jobs, generating labor income of approximately $300 million, and contributing to annual economic output of $800 million, all incremental to the Royals' impacts today. Furthermore, when phase 2 of the mixed-use district delivers, we anticipate these impacts to increase to 8,400 jobs, $440 million of labor income, and $1.2 billion of economic output. The primary industries directly benefiting from the project include the entertainment, hotel, restaurant, professional services, and other tourism-related industries. Additionally, the project's indirect ripple effects are anticipated to facilitate growth in supporting industries, including the real estate, healthcare, insurance, accounting, and utilities industries, among many others. Another critical aspect we considered is the fiscal impact of the new ballpark district. Once complete, the project is anticipated to drive approximately $79 million in new tax revenues annually. This incremental tax revenue will come from various sources, including activity in the mixed-use district, ballpark spending, and spending by visiting Royals fans that are staying and shopping locally. These projections highlight the substantial localized economic and fiscal benefits that the proposed Crossroads Ballpark District can bring to the Kansas City region. The project has the potential to enhance downtown, the Crossroads, and T-Mobile Center with the creation of an expanded sports and entertainment district. And with that, I'll now turn it over to Sam Mellinger to facilitate today's question and answer session.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you guys know the drill. We see a couple hands up already, so we will start off with Steve. You there, Steve? All right, Todd.
Hey guys, for both of you, one of the things that I heard at the town hall last week was, you're moving some tax dollars from one place to the other, right? If there's $79 million in new tax revenue coming in, there's got to be a subtraction, right? Because people aren't spending money at the ballpark itself. I mean, what's the offset there as far as like, I get there's a new tax money, but what about the tax money and revenues that aren't coming in from the stadium where it is now?
No, Todd, I think what we see today at the ballpark, we're moving the ballpark. We don't have the pregame and postgame entertainment facilities out here. So all of that we believe is additive. When you look at, when we get back to the levels we want to be at from a fan's perspective, drawing 2 and 3 million fans per year, we want to take those fans downtown, into the Crossroads, into this location. We want to build upon the momentum that we're seeing down there. And by taking those 2 to 3 million fans downtown and utilizing and adding to all that already exists down there, along with our development, we think that's a better place for those fans to go rather than come to the ballpark and then go directly home. We want the dwell time to increase. We want you to come early and stay late. You come and you can be in the Royals new development. You can start out in Power and Light, go through us, go to the Crossroads, or Crossroads back to Power and Light. We think bringing those fans downtown is additive. The ballpark's going to be there. We're going to draw more fans, but it's bringing them down and having them entertained and spending those dollars, down there in Power and Light and Crossroads enhances the community and enhances what's already present. We're additive to all of that.
All right. Let's do Charlie Keegan.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking the time. You mentioned in your report a lot about labor income and the impact that'll have. But we haven't heard from you guys about creating a union with the service industry, the janitors, the concessionaires. How will they be able to maximize that labor income throughout this economic predictions?
Maximize it. I mean, we have union employees today at Kaufman, and that will continue at the new stadium. So not only will it be union labor involved in the construction of the stadium and the development, but also that union labor will continue as we have today at the stadium for all of those you mentioned. So we look forward to that and are excited. We spend a lot of time with the labor leaders discussing this, and I think they're excited by all prospects here, both construction and in perpetuity.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like we nailed it, guys. Todd.
This is just a general question, Brooks. I've been kind of trying to study these community benefits agreement things, and it looks like they're maybe like 20 years old, right? It started in LA with the Staples Center. I'm just wondering, how these things came about and any like experience you've had with them before, and is this, from what you guys have seen, has this been a little more, I don't know, like salty than some of the others that I've seen? Because it seems to be, I don't quite get how the whole thing works, but can you just kind of take me through your thoughts on community benefits agreements and kind of where you guys are right now and what this process has been like?
Yeah, I think we wanted to focus on the economic impact here of the ballpark and our development, but I'll hit on that in a minute, Todd. I think we had it wasn't termed a community benefits agreement back when the improvements were done at Kaufman and Arrowhead back in the 06 to 09 period. But there were provisions in there from an MWBE perspective, from contributions and participation in community activities from the team, from its players as we could. And so I think we had that already, and we were doing that. This is in a more pronounced way with the economics included in there of contributions. But it's also continues to be the participation and using the teams and the pride that we can generate and see that gets spread around. But it does come back to also the minority workforce participation in construction and going forward, women-owned businesses. So we want to do all of that. And I think it was most talked about here in Kansas City with the airport. And so I think you could look back at that as somewhat of a model for us, that we have now exceeded for what we will do, and the Chiefs as well. So it's common now across the country when public funds are put to work for sports stadiums and otherwise, that there be a community benefits agreement. So there are, tangible benefits for the community that the recipients of that public money are willing to put forth, and us included. We're happy to do it. We'll help control where that money goes. We think we're pretty good at that through our foundation and foundations of a lot of our ownership group. So I think it's really has come about in the last number of years, but the airport is the best example of recent times for us. But we had a little bit in place in 06 to 09.
Thank you.
All right. I do want to emphasize something Brooks just said, but just especially with respect to Gus's time, we'd love to keep this focused on the presentation today and the economic numbers. So Steve, let's try this again.
Is it
Okay.
me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, it's Andy. I don't know where you're getting Steve. Oh, I know.
On the
Oh,
screen.
okay. All right. Yeah. You know what? It's that's our desk guy. Sorry about that, fellas. Yeah. So just kind of looking at you mentioned it seems like your numbers are maybe a little bit optimistic, at least in terms of the attendance, because you're talking about maybe getting 2 and 3 million people down there. You guys lost 106 games last year. And what was it, 1.3 million people that showed up to the Royals game, something like that? You averaged about 16,000 people. So, I mean, it seems like maybe you're kind of, basing some numbers on optimism that you think you can, I mean, 3 million, that's more than twice that what you did last year. Right?
That's right. And we're working hard to get to that kind of level. I said 2 to 3 million. We certainly feel we'll get to that. We're incredibly excited about the upcoming season. I think if you look back at last year, it was a year nobody liked, none of us, and we didn't expect it. But we had it, and we worked through it. Team began to improve as we got into the latter couple of months, and we had a lot of transactions in the off season to bring in some talented players, some veterans on free agent contracts. We got Bobby Witt Jr. signed to a long-term deal that we're incredibly excited about. And we've got right leadership in baseball with JJ leading the way along with Q. So we're incredibly excited. Winning baseball brings more fans, and Kansas City has shown that in years past. You look back at the years of 13, 14, 15, 16, the numbers of fans that came about in that time, that came out to the ballpark. Kansas City is a baseball town. We want to win. We're going to win, and we're going to draw those fans. We had 2.7 million fans in 2016, and we want to get back to those levels. And every day we're doing that, both with the baseball operations and with business operations, to make sure that fans are entertained. Second to that, we think with a new ballpark and with the new amenities, new fan experiences, that's going to lead to more fans as well. And being able to improve the player development facilities improves the team. Having our development outside of the ballpark, the income, the cash flow that development will generate, that will go back into the club to further build that team.
I did want to ask you as a follow-up couple things. So obviously you have to have deals with the people that have property down at the Crossroads right now. And my understanding is that's still a work in progress. And, we're less than 2 weeks away from the vote. So certainly, that is an element. And speaking of the vote, our understanding is that polling would suggest that this is going to be exceptionally close. I mean, there's very little margin for error. If this vote does not go in your favor, none of this happens. Is that correct?
We're optimistic on the vote, and you can bet that we're working hard every day to ensure that our message gets across. Both the Royals and the Chiefs are working hard every day for yes on one. And so I think first and foremost, that's our focus, to be successful there. I think, as we've said before, if we are not successful with this vote, it is the foundational support for financing. If we're not successful for it, we will take a step back and pause and determine what our next steps may be. What that is. What we have said is that we need a new stadium for the Kansas City Royals. Our lease runs through our season of 2030. We will not be here after that. We will have a new location in which to play baseball. We want this to pass. We're working hard to do it. We think it's the best thing for Jackson County, for Kansas City, for the region to do this. It is additive to what momentum is already present in Kansas City, downtown. It connects the Crossroads to Power and Light. So we think it's the right thing to do. But again, if we're not successful, it will not be for lack of effort. We are working hard every day to do it, get the right message out. But if we're not, we will take a step back and determine, what our options are. And we will look at them all and come to a conclusion, sometime after that. But that's how we're viewing it.
All right. No name on this one. KCTV News Desk. You're on.
All righty. Can you hear me all good?
Yep.
All righty. When this was first being brought up, the East Village obviously was another location. Looking at the economic projections, is it drastically different from there? Is it truly the Crossroads is the best place, or it was closer than you thought it was when looking at both locations?
The Crossroads is the best location for this stadium and this development. The reasons for that are the proximity to the Crossroads, the proximity to Power and Light. There has been infrastructure put in place in those locations to support the activity down there. And we add to that infrastructure, but we also utilize that infrastructure. We utilize that foot traffic, and we bring a great deal more foot traffic. But it's positive for Kansas City and downtown Kansas City in particular. When you think about T-Mobile and the Power and Light and the financing that the city did there, we will come in and enhance the returns on that. It will benefit the city on the bonds that are in place to be able for the taxes that we will generate will enhance the city's coffers and allow them to grow. We will do better with our business there. The city will do better with us there and bringing the 2 million plus fans, 2 million to 3 million fans, bringing them downtown rather than out here to the Truman Sports Complex. But the Chiefs will take up our space out here, and they'll have additional activities. So we're going to see a benefit at Truman Sports Complex with the Chiefs, and we're going to see a benefit in the Crossroads, benefiting all of downtown and the momentum that's been generated and is ongoing there.
All right. I think we got time for one more. So Charlie Keegan, bring us home.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you. This one, Gus might be able to weigh on this a little bit. In January, the U.S. Congressional Research Service released a study on how sports drive economics, and it quoted some research from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. Said a lot of times the job projections kind of just poach existing jobs from other restaurants and hotels to come work in new restaurants and hotels. So how do you take that into account, the job transitioning just from one existing job to a new location?
Well, we think that the spending that is generated by this project is enough to create those incremental jobs, so that it is not merely substituting jobs from one to another, but it's creating additional new ones.
All right. You good, Charlie?